Hello everybody and welcome to Chit-Chat Tuesday. I'm delighted that this one is going ahead. It was going to be going ahead almost a month ago now, but I was poorly, and then it's also the sad passing of the Queen, so it probably was best that it was a little bit of a break. But it's also good because Jayne has actually edited her very first Really Haunted, and it's absolutely amazing. It's really good. Do check it out if you haven't already on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. We've got 3 little clips that I'm going to show on here, but I've only chosen 3 because I really do want you to go and see it, because it's amazing. It's really taken off, which is absolutely brilliant as well, and loads of people really loved it. So it's been quite a busy week, and you did a lot of editing to get it out, and I was really pleased with the results. So hopefully I've copied and pasted what you wanted to do in Really Haunted, but it's in the description. But it's all about accessibility, so I've also put it on my YouTube channel. So do you mind sort of saying, because Jayne is no stranger to Chit-Chat Tuesday, but I wonder if you wanted to just say when the idea first came to you about Really Haunted.
Right, so I've been an investigator for 17 years. I've lived with illnesses all that time, which have gradually worsened. But I got to the point where investigating wasn't fun anymore because I was hurting too much, and it would take me 2 to 3, maybe even 4 weeks to recover from a single investigation walking around. So I use an electric wheelchair called a power chair, so that I can get about and be independent around the local town and out with my grown-up children now. And I just thought, damn to this, I'm missing it, I want to get back into it. So, nobody does investigating in a wheelchair, or rarely does investigating in a wheelchair. There are people that do it, I'm not the first. But, the idea, because I enjoy videography as well, I mean, I'm not professional by any means, but I enjoy videography as well. So I enjoy making films about the investigations that I do. So I kind of just put the two together, where I could carry on investigating, do it in my wheelchair. Then it kind of grew from there. There's lots of people that I know that can't walk around, that do potentially use a wheelchair or need to find extra seats to sit down, are not able to do things, maybe blind, whatever the situation may be, that they've got something that inhibits them from normal investigating, so to speak. So the idea is kind of born where I'm going to go to locations and find places that are accessible. And accessible is such a big word. Doesn't just mean mobility wise, but places that will be okay for blind people to navigate independently. Perhaps places that have got hearing loops, lifts, the whole shebang. That's what I'm looking for. There are locations all over the country. They're just not, in my opinion, they're not kind of promoted enough to say, look, this place would be great for investigating. Let's sort something out.
Good. I'm going to say some hellos. I want to also say to everybody, now there's some numbers on. There's going to be an hour show tonight, so I just want to let people know that it'll be finishing just a little earlier, but an hour of really good stuff, and I got some clips as well from Jayne's first paranormal investigation under Really Haunted. So we have, I must say hello to Annie, sorry. I must say hello to Soldier, Patricia, Wendy, Charles and Anna. Hello Anna. So it's nice to have you all here at the moment. So it's good to, I mean, what I find incredible, that it's really been yourself that have really started promoting this. I have known people that have investigated with wheelchairs, but sometimes it literally means that with help and lifting the wheelchair over the first step, they can basically go in the first room, and that's about it. And I find it amazing because there's so much more for accessibility, welcome all, for people in wheelchairs, and as you said, like blind, hearing problems, that this is only just kind of really first coming out, and people are investigating. So I'm really pleased that you're doing that. What sort of reception have you had so far from people about this?
From my friends, obviously, there's naturally support. From the outsider circle of acquaintances, I guess, it's also support. there's been no negativity really, because it's not just about me. It's about helping other people in driving a passion, which I know other people hold, but they can't use. And that's the thing. I felt so entrapped when I couldn't investigate. It was just, it's not good. And by putting myself out there and doing it, hopefully others can follow, and it will start, not a trend. It's not what I want. I just want, it's like a whole movement of people. I just want everyone to come forward and say, yeah, we can do this. We're going to do this. Maybe even total events from event. I don't want to take on events personally, but I would like to work with events companies and places to perhaps do complete investigations where there's just, less abled people or particular groups of people. So if you do feel potentially conscious, there's still going to be ways to investigate. And I think that's hugely important for no, I hate this word. Inclusivity. That's the word. I
Yeah,
can
you
never
got
say
it
it.
all right.
So yeah.
Excellent. So Jem is here.
Evening,
Dark
Jem.
Veil is here. So Patricia says here, I'm slowly losing my sight. I think what you're doing is an amazing idea.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Now, the first investigation, which we will show some clips of a little later, was Bodmin Jail. And I've heard so many really good things about it from just people that have done investigations, people that have been to Bodmin Jail just purely as a tourist to look round it. But I did see, and I have only got the paranormal things in, so do forgive me, but it seemed an amazing place for people that needed wheelchair access, and it all seemed quite good for people that were partially sighted or blind as well, as it seemed to be a very safe place, and also amazing toilets, which is good.
Yeah.
How did you personally rate that place, and also as well for yourself and knowing others with say if they're blind or even deaf or have mobility problems, what makes a good venue for you for ghost hunting, and what sort of things do you like to see in place?
So looking at someone who's worked in social care before, it may seem a bit more obvious to me, but they've got lifts. Mobility is easy. All floors are accessible. All floors are flat. There's plenty of seating when you're on an event, on a paranormal event. There's plenty of seating around. The staff are incredible. They'll open doors for you, close doors for you, take you to the place you've got to be, bring you back. For mobility wise, it's brilliant. As you said, toilets, the bathrooms are brilliant. They are accessible. There's one downstairs and I believe one upstairs. That for me is obviously the main thing. When I lost my sight or my field of vision a few years ago, I lost it for about 3 years. I think that would have posed a few more issues for me, because there's big open spaces. If a person with some sight loss or visual impairment is trying to navigate the big open spaces, it could be problematic, just because to get from one side to the other, it's going to either take a long time, where you're feeling perhaps around the wall if you don't know where you're going, unless you have a person with you. Now, that's the other good thing about Bodmin Jail. I just want to say from the start, I'm not sponsored by them. I love the location. I've been going there roughly 10 years all in all, and I've got a lot of respect for this location and the staff that work there. On a disabled ticket, you get to take a carer with you. So if you need an extra person to, kind of guide you around, or you've got hearing loss and you need someone to sign for you, it could be, or someone just to hold on to as you're walking around. It's absolutely amazing, it's brilliant.
Excellent. Soldier says, our very own Lindsay puts the extra effort into investigations from a mobility scooter. Respect, investigating is hard enough as it is without additional barriers like wheelchairs and scooters. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if there's anybody else here. Diane. Hello, Diane. Oh, right. Okay. Jem says, Bodmin Jail is awesome, as is Jayne. I fully agree. And what she's highlighting sorry, for the paranormal community. I truly, absolutely agree.
Oh, thank you, Jem.
Dark Veil very inspiring video. Yeah, it's fantastic. I've got the Paranormal Voice linked into the description of this video, so do go on to that. Brilliant. So let's get that. So I am going to show some clips later, and we will talk a little bit about the panel. But I just wanted to talk first of all about the accessibility. Now, Pengersic Castle, I've always heard you sing the praises of. What's that like for accessibility?
Terrible.
Oh dear.
Terrible. Unfortunately, it's got a spiral staircase right through the middle. It's one tower, and the stairs are not the best. They're dodgy for the best of people, to be fair. And you know, I love the place, but it kills me when I investigate it, for sure. It's not a place you can go and say, yeah, we can stick a lift in there, or do this or do that, because of the structure and the towers built around the actual around the spiral staircase. It's just not accessible unless you're fit, and I'm not. So, you know, I've had to do it a bit less than I like. Well, a lot less than I like, to be fair. So yeah, unfortunately. But I will be going back there. I mean, obviously I'm able to walk, you know, with crutches, short distances, and I can work it out. But yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. So Diane says, fabulous place, but yes, it's not good for immobile folk. So obviously you've got other places in the pipeline. What other places can you investigate and is really good if you need to have that accessibility?
Honestly, at the minute, I'm still looking for locations. I do have an investigation coming up at Jamaica Inn. They are good for accessibility too. Not quite as free-flowing as Bodmin Jail, but the staff are there to help. You know, I've spoken to the Paranormal team. I don't see any issues forthcoming. They've got, if you're staying the night, they've got bedrooms on the ground floor. There's ramps in and out where it needs to be. And they've got kind of mobile ramps, I guess, ones that they can move about if you need them. That's the next location for Wheelie Haunted. And then probably next year I'll be looking at moving further away locations, perhaps staying the night, documenting the bus and train journeys and stuff like that. If our trains trains ever start striking the staff, and then we'll move further afield. And there's going to be a lot of research in it. I'll be approaching the companies and the venues, letting them know what I'm doing first, obviously, to make sure they're okay with it. And just taking it from there. But there are locations which I don't want to mention yet, because I know we kind of had a brief discussion about one before we started, but I want to make sure that the location's okay with it, or the people doing the events are okay with it first.
Yes, absolutely. I've just thought of one that might be useful, so remind me when we finish this that I can tell you about.
Awesome.
Right, okay, here is Soldier. Jayne, do you find venues will change things for you to accommodate your chair, or are they rigid with their rules?
Honestly, I've only just started investigating in my chair. I think most venues are open to a little bit of change. Like I said, Jamaica Inn have got this ramp, which I believe is, you know, they can put down, lift up when need be. But yeah, I think most venues will help out as and when possible. If you're looking at some of the English heritage, you know, some of the National Trust, any type of trust charity venue may be different, because a lot of those are generally kind of, you know, they're under restrictions that they can't change things. And there may be old carpets down where wheelchairs or, you know, anything, walking sticks, crutches, whatever, may cause issues. So yeah, there's some venues down here that I'd love to do that I know won't allow wheelchairs or prams in, or anything, you know, babies' prams or anything in.
Yeah, and that is a shame, because I have seen it in certain venues where it's been done very tastefully. You wouldn't even know there was a lift there, but it can get people to see access to all areas, and that's not just on the paranormal field either. So from a paranormal front, and just to remind people as well, oh, hello Cowabunga and Joe, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. So it's now a show tonight. We've got some clips to show. Before, I've chosen 3 clips from Jayne's really haunted. Yeah, you can sort of stumble over that word sometimes as well.
I still do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, so I think this is what I was saying about Kenilworth Castle. We're able to accommodate wheelchair users.
Yeah.
It's not far away. I can have a look at that.
We were just talking about that. Yeah, it'd be one that I
Yeah.
would be interested in coming to have a look at, especially if
Yeah.
they do like an evening ghost walk. Because
Yes.
although it's going to accommodate investigations, the ghost walks in such like it's just as important to an investigator or somebody who loves
Yeah.
the paranormal. So yeah, that really interests me as well.
I've done one of their ghost walks, and again, I'm not affiliated with the Kenilworth Castle or English Heritage or anything, but the ghost walk was amazing. So much fun. It was really, really good. Hello, Linda. I hope you're doing good from Florida, USA. How did you find it before I share the first little clip that is on You're Really Haunted? How do you find it as a paranormal venue? We know the accessibility, but how do you find it as actual getting places of evidence or possible evidence?
Amazing. I was there before they started all the changes and the renovations. It was good. It was always good. But for me now, personally, the fact that they've kitted it out for everyone to see, but more so the fact that it's a more comfortable location, you know, there's not wind whistling through the windows that are not there. It's more comfortable, it's easier to manoeuvre. Whether you're walking, whether you're not, it's an amazing location. But activity-wise, it seems to have been far more active than what it was previously. Whether it's the new manager there, because I know she's very at one with the jail. I say no, she's been there many years now. Or whether it was the renovations that actually caused, you know, the actual change in activity. But it is really, really active. We went there, and those captures, some of those captures which we got, all happened within like the first hour and a half, I think, which was incredible. You know, it was Gemma in chat was with me. She is from the Paranormal Voice team, and she came along with me as support. And yeah, we got some incredible stuff. Some of it didn't capture on camera, but what we heard was just phenomenal. You know, we had someone running down the naval wing, and it was like we run out, and we expected to see someone there, but it was just nothing. It was just incredible. I mean, really incredible.
Brilliant. So I can't wait to get this on. So the first clip, if I remember the order that I've done it in, is a direct voice phenomena. So I'm going to play it. What are we listening out for here, Jayne?
The first one I think is it the gent which we hear?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So what you hear is me talking. I think I say to Jen, "Are you not staying in with me?" Because we were kind of in this little. It's called the sluice, where they used to sort of like put all the toilet waste. We stayed in there, and this is where we had most of what seemed to be most of the activity. And just as I say that, you hear a voice, and I go, "Do you hear that?" Which is my normal reaction to something, because it's almost like a disbelief. Did you hear that? We hear it, and Jem's like, "Yeah, I heard it. I thought it was you." And we do the normal, you know, "I thought it was you." And then a little while after, only maybe 30 seconds, I think, maybe a minute, you hear another voice. I think it says, "They hear me," or "They hear me now," or something like that. It may not, but there's a definite another voice which I hear. And I think Jem hears too. It's incredible. We were the only two females in that space. Everyone else was away on the other side of the building, or far away. I'm not sure exactly where in the building they were, but they weren't anywhere near us. So, you know, what I think is male voices sounds absolutely incredible. We heard them very close to us. They've been picked up on camera. Some people say they can hear them, some say they can't. I can hear them better with earphones than I can on just the speakers on my iPad. So I think a lot of it depends on the speakers you've got, but they're definitely there in my opinion, and I can hear them clear as day.
So if anybody has that, I will play this twice. So if you've got earphones, earbuds, might be an idea to put them in. Obviously not too loud if you don't blow your eardrums off. So let's play this one now.
Moved into the arch room. That's when things started to get very interesting. What you're about to hear is nothing but astonishing, as the only two people in this area are female, Gemma and I. That's me twisted around in my chair. As I speak to Jem, you will hear a male voice at the same time, which sounds as though it's coming from the main walkway or one of the cells. And immediately after, questioning each other, the same voice sounds as though it says, "They hear me?" If this is the case, then we have just caught an incredible direct voice phenomena occurrence with our own ears and on the audio of the camera, which shows we are communicating with an intelligent entity.
That's scary.
So, you're not staying in with me?
Oh, do you want me to stay with you?
So, you're not staying in with me?
Oh, do you want me to stay with you?
So, you're not staying in with me?
Oh, do you want me to stay with you?
Who was that?
Was that you?
No.
I thought it was you. It's not your wheelchair?
No.
I just assumed it was you, but it was behind
That second voice though?
It sounded like it was behind me as I walked
that's
forward.
just giving me chills. I don't often get goosebumps, but
Hello?
I'm telling you, thank you if you're here.
Come on out then, where are you?
So that's really good. I couldn't hear it, I must admit, when I was watching it just through the mobile phone and then on TV, but I did hear it with putting the headphones in. So those of you watching, I can see people scrambling around to find their headphones now.
Yeah.
I will play it again for you, but let's get this one up. So Jem said, "Oh, it's put right in front of that," which I'll read it out from here. "The running was so clear, I thought the group was coming back."
Yeah.
And
it was amazing.
Sorry, it's got that thing right in front of it. So it was a disembodied voice.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's play it one more time for everybody, then I'll move on to the next clip.
We moved into the arch room. That's when things started to get very interesting. What you're about to hear is nothing but astonishing, as the only two people in this area are female, Gemma and I. As I speak to Jem, you will hear a male voice at the same time, which sounds as though it's coming from the main walkway or one of the cells. And immediately after, questioning each other, the same voice sounds as though it says, "They hear me?" If this is the case, then we have just caught an incredible direct voice phenomena occurrence with our own ears and on the audio of the camera, which shows we are communicating with an intelligent entity.
That's scary.
So, you're not staying in with me?
Oh, do you want me to stay with you?
So, you're not staying in with me?
Oh, do you want me to stay with you?
So, you're not staying in with me?
Oh, do you want me to stay with you?
Who was that?
Was that you?
No.
I thought it was you. It's not your wheelchair?
No.
I just assumed it was you, but it was behind
That second voice though?
It sounded like it was behind me as I walked
that's
forward.
just giving me chills. I don't often get goosebumps, but
Hello?
I'm telling you, thank you if you're here.
Come on out then, where are you?
Wonderful. So I'll just remove that for now. A couple of people have said that's phenomenal. Hi Linda. Joe says definitely sounds like an old man. Annie's watching. Hello to you. Soldier did say my old ears aren't what they used to be. Going deaf since I hit 60. Couldn't hear this one. I mean, there is certain frequencies as well as you know, you may get or may not get hearing loss. That it's not so. I must admit I couldn't hear it first time around, but with these headphones in, I could hear it. The second one I think is definitely the most clearest one to me. Anyway. So yeah, that's really good.
Just want to pick up on something Jem said about the running. It was just so clear. It was mind blowing. It was the best evidence we had. But I didn't put it in purely because we didn't capture it on the camera. What I thought was I don't think after going back last week and hearing certain noises, I don't think what I had picked up on the camera was what we heard at the time. But that was phenomenal, definitely.
You know, that can happen sometimes. It's like the opposite to EVP, because I remember speaking to some people that were investigating the theatre, and all of a sudden they were underneath the stage and they literally thought a weight had fallen on it or somebody had fallen off onto the stage. It was bang, and they really heard it. They were all filming at the time. they ran upstairs, and the only thing you can sort of see is their shocked faces and them running up. You don't hear a single thing at all. So it's funny how that happens from time to time.
It is. It's direct voice phenomena because you hear it directly with your own ears. It's just incredible.
This one's really good. So this is, I'll pull it up in a second, so I'll just get that down for now. So this is when you're going into the toilet area. It sounds like a laugh, which you do explain. So you said it could possibly be somebody there, but you weren't sure that because there was a door open. So if you explain a little bit more how the setup was before it happened.
Again, it was only Jem and I there. There was no one else there. But as Jem opens the door, obviously there could be room for noise. We kind of, when we don't agree on this one quite so much. I think it is Jem doesn't hear it, but right at the end, I think underneath, because I've listened for EVP for so many years, it's probably easier for me to pick out. But as the door opens, there's a voice, and at the end, as she finishes opening it, to me, there's a clear ha-ha. Of course, this could be noise from the door. I can't 100% say. But in my opinion, it's a voice. Other people will disagree. So it's one of the ones you've got to make your own mind up on. Definitely.
To be honest, I can definitely hear something that sounds like a ha-ha, and I heard that one, straight away. So hello to Gillian. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure there's another quick question here. Oh yeah, there's Diane C. We experienced the same audio phenomena at East Drive.
With a bang, yes.
Yeah.
I tell you, if you're looking for people to look for paranormal, Jem and Di are brilliant people to get on. They've got so many experiences. Amazing.
Excellent.
Well-respected
was there any other
ladies in the
questions? I
paranormal.
can't see anything else. Right, okay, so let's go to this video number 2.
Still with the same static feeling lingering, we hear more voices, but it seems that we were being mocked. As the door opens, there is a clear male voice followed by a ha-ha, just as Gemma finishes pulling the door back. I truly believe that this was again a disembodied voice, but due to the nature of the scene and the door being opened, we will leave it to your own interpretation on what you think.
Well, there's nobody in here. No. Well, there's nobody in here. No. Well, there's nobody in here. No.
That's a very pleasant smelling toilet.
As toilets go, it's very clean as well.
It is.
We're giving a review of the toilet, very clean. I like it. I have to say there's no mirror. I would like a mirror. There was a voice then.
Was there?
It was like, oh. So about the mirror, and it went, oh.
I don't know. This feels spiky as hell out here. I'm telling you, there's something going down. This is going to get spiky. After that momentous discovery of potentially one of the best public all-access toilets we'd ventured into, we continued on.
That's good. Yeah, I can certainly hear the ha-ha. So we'll play that again. Thank you, Julian. Thank you. All right, let's play this again.
Still with the same static feeling lingering, we hear more voices, but it seems that we were being mocked. As the door opens, there is a clear male voice followed by a ha-ha, just as Gemma finishes pulling the door back. I truly believe that this was again a disembodied voice, but due to the nature of the scene and the door being opened, we will leave it to your own interpretation on what you think.
Well, there's nobody in here. No. Well, there's nobody in here. No. Well, there's nobody in here. No.
That's a very pleasant smelling toilet.
As toilets go, it's very clean as well.
It is.
We're giving a review of the toilet, very clean. I like it. I have to say there's no mirror. I would like a mirror. There was a voice then.
Was there?
It was like, oh. So about the mirror, and it went, oh.
I don't know. This feels spiky as hell out here. I'm telling you. I didn't swear. There's something going down. This is going to get spiky. after that momentous discovery of potentially one of the best public all-access toilets we'd ventured into, we continued on.
Yeah, you were very good. You caught yourself, definitely. Yeah, I was just going to say I didn't hear the voice that Jem heard afterwards that
No.
she says so. But again, sometimes it doesn't get picked up on the equipment.
Absolutely.
Spiky, love it. Now the last one. Before I share this, I was personally really impressed with this. What you caught, you sort of said about flares or glitching or something like that. You kind of get like a shadow distortion.
Yeah.
That's it. I must admit, I mean, I've done investigations once upon a time quite a lot. Then it was with ancient technology and showing where there were lit doors, and I've not come across a phenomena like this. But you know quite a lot about your cameras, and I know you like sort of cameras and technology. So
Absolutely.
how could that potentially be distortion, particularly as it's moving the other way? So if you can explain a little bit about this, and then we will show the clip, don't worry everybody.
So there is the clip which is in debate. I think it'll always remain in debate until we go back and try to replicate the same thing. Basically the distortion would come from the fact that it's dark and we're using IR. The sensor kind of can only see what it can see, so it modes everything together, if that makes sense. The sensor in a camera, you know, the picture goes through the lens, hits the sensor at the back. The sensor's got to make sense of that. So when it does, it just sees what it can see and makes up what it can see. So there could be distortion where Jem is walking away, and you might find that the sensor's slow in pulling away that lighting. However, that said, when you get when you've got the shadow, you clearly see it moving away, and as you look under Gemma's arm as it walks away, there's almost like its own arm pulling away as it goes, you know, races into the cell. So yeah. It is interesting. We know that this has been picked up a couple of times before in the last couple of months because I asked, which was interesting for sure. So I kind of sit on the fence with this one. I know we've seen figures like it in the past, in that location, not in that location. So I'm really unsure on this one.
Yeah, I personally was impressed with it. What's this? We get Gemma just before we show it, just to tease people a little more. The dark shape moving, I wouldn't say it's paranormal, just unexplained for now. Okay,
exactly,
see what everybody thinks.
Yeah. Exactly. It's an unknown happening at the minute. So yeah, I wouldn't. That's why I said I can't claim it as paranormal.
Let's have a look. Here we go. This last one. Now, this is my favourite of all of them. I did like it.
Looking back over the footage, I found a phenomena which I find really, really interesting. As Gemma walks away from me and walks up the left side of the navel wing, there is what seems to be something moving into the doorway. You can just see it behind Gemma's shoulder and arm. So we know the old naval wing wasn't just used by the navies for prisoners, for Spanish and French prisoners. We know that ladies were here, that ladies were here,
that ladies were here.
I think this particular piece of evidence will split opinion. I am still unsure because it could be distortion or there could be genuinely something there. What I do know is that we did show Paranormal Manager Castin, who has reported 2 other times in the last 2 months that this phenomena seems to have been caught on camera. It does look as though something's moving away into that particular room. If you look under Gemma's arm, you can clearly see something moving away from her, and it does not seem to fit the shape of her arm or the sleeve on which she's wearing. We are not claiming this is paranormal, just interesting as we can't readily explain it. There doesn't seem to be any further distortion within the footage to suggest that this is a regular occurrence. As you can see from the rest of the footage, we use high quality camera and lighting to take all of that away. Could this have been one of the characters known within the jail walls, moving away and not wanting to communicate with us? I have to say that we left the jail feeling a paranormal euphoria, only something someone experiences when they truly touch points of the unknown.
Oh, it slightly cut it off then, even though I didn't on the edit, so it must be something to do when I play stuff through StreamYard. Oh, that's the wrong one. Dark Veil says it's bloody good, mind. So yeah, and it's interesting there was no other distortion. So if you were to go back to that location, I take it you try and get yourself as much in the same position as possible and trying to pan and trying to recreate it. Now, I started off doing media studies, and even back then the technology was 10 years out of date. We were talking about VHS editing software, but interestingly with the tapes, because I take it what you're filming on is memory cards.
Yes.
Now, would there be less chance for distortion? Because I know a lot the way the digital films, like these books behind me, it will just freeze them because it say put an image again. Would there be less possibility of distortion using an older sort of technology?
You've got to remember that the memory records frame by frame, like photograph by photograph, like any camera. It depends on the type of card you're using as to how much distortion, how much play you could get from your device. It's the same with a voice recorder, which I'll explain in a minute. But basically, you've got all this information going onto a card, and they save the memory. They save what's going on to the information at different rates. Now, I've got Class 10 cards, which are specifically built for, or specifically made for, like 4K quality video. I was only using 1080 quality there, so the information should be stored fine. There was ample room. There is the speed in which it saves the recordings at seemed ample. So yeah, that saving it to the card shouldn't cause distortion. However, if you're using the wrong card, you're using a slow card, or a card that will save slower, all the information slower, you'll find that it may start missing bits, glitching bits, missing out little bits of information. And that's where you get even orbs on a camera can be caused through either the sensor not being able to pick up all the information because of low lighting, or even the way that it's saved to the memory card. Same with voice recordings. You get a voice recorder which has got a low kilobytes per second saving the information on. You're going to get very, very distorted information because it works so slow. That's why the DR60, Panasonic DR60, some of the Sonys that people whack onto low quality, it seems like they're picking up voices. They're not. It's just a distorted noise which it can't process properly to put on the memory card. And then obviously it's played back through a rubbish speaker on the camera. I apologise. A rubbish speaker on the recorder, and that's it. And obviously your voice recording's only as good as your microphone as well. So you're in for a lot of trouble with that, thinking that there's voices when there aren't.
Absolutely. I always make sure, because it tends to be MP3s now that you have to record by. I used to love my mini disc recorder until I opened it and all the springs flew out of it. But that was pretty good quality. I used to make sure I put the most highest setting that you could do for that. And like I get the best memory cards, the fastest memory cards you've got, particularly the work that I do when I record clients, it's far too important for it to suddenly corrupt or do something weird. That's really, really nicely explained. Let's see what else is here. Soldier said, and I will play a clip again because I think it's absolutely fantastic. Optically, it's very high contrast area, which doesn't help. Yeah. Dark around it and very bright in the doorway, but you can't deny it does look like someone walking through the door. And it is interesting because it doesn't seem to be the same, moving quite the same shape or speed. So it is quite an interesting one.
Yeah, but that's what I was talking about. All the information which the sensor will pick up is one colour because it's black against the light. Yeah,
absolutely. Here's hoping the next he or she does show us a full body next time, though. Let's have a look. I've got one from Joe, and we'll get the clip back up. Also, when watching something black, make sure it's on an up-to-date software, etc., because old ones will pixelate more. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, what you see here is not as good a quality as what I've got on my at home, because when you upload to YouTube, it compresses it to save space. I mean, there's like a it was in total something like a 25 gig file to upload to YouTube, so it's compressed it majorly. That's why there's lots of pixels in it. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. So just get a few more up. It moves from the space under your arm, then away from you. So need to go back also for me to wear the same top. Yeah, absolutely. That's really important, isn't it? Yeah. We want to debunk this one if we can.
Absolutely, Jem. I totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Let's see. Try and playing around with the colours and see if you can lighten it up more to see it's better. Maybe did you try playing around with the colours? And you slowed it down.
I have, yeah. If you've seen the very last one, I did lighten it. Again, because it's so like Soldier said, high contrast. It doesn't make an ounce of difference. Whatever the colour is and whatever Jem's top is the same. Jem's top was black. This thing going into the room potentially was black, or the distortion, the amalgamation is black. So it's really difficult to see.
Yeah, definitely see something as light as shade. Again, Soldier was saying that it'd be good to go and recreate that one if possible.
Definitely
I never noticed the shadow between your waist and arm until then. So let's see if we got any new comments coming through. So that's already good. So I will play that one again, just hide that particular comment down. But let's just play this one again because it is interesting. I do like seeing it.
Looking back over the footage, I found a phenomena which I find really, really interesting. As Gemma walks away from me and walks up the left side of the naval wing, there is what seems to be something moving into the doorway. You can just see it behind Gemma's shoulder and arm. So we know the old naval wing wasn't just used by the navies for prisoners, for Spanish and French prisoners. We know that ladies were here, that ladies were here,
that ladies were here.
I think this particular piece of evidence will split opinion. I am still unsure because it could be distortion or there could be genuinely something there. What I do know is that we did show Paranormal Manager Castin, who has reported 2 other times in the last 2 months that this phenomena seems to have been caught on camera. It does look as though something's moving away into that particular room. If you look under Gemma's arm, you can clearly see something moving away from her, and it does not seem to fit the shape of her arm or the sleeve on which she's wearing. We are not claiming this is paranormal, just interesting as we can't readily explain it. There doesn't seem to be any further distortion within the footage to suggest that this is a regular occurrence. As you can see from the rest of the footage, we use high quality camera and lighting to take all of that away. Could this have been one of the characters known within the jail walls, moving away and not wanting to communicate with us? I have to say that we left the jail feeling a paranormal euphoria, only something someone experiences when they truly touch points of the unknown.
Really good. Let's remove that one now and get a few more comments up. So it's certainly a very intriguing piece of footage. I had this one from Joe. I didn't notice it as well. It looks like an orb also, doesn't it? I'm wondering, is that Joe at the back? Because I'm wondering the way Jayne pans the camera. I wonder if it's a bit of light flare that goes across. But
it is, because we've got the glass cabinet in front with the big the big Bodmin model in it. I think that is just the catching the IR that comes away. Yeah, I wonder if... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I wonder if the composition of the material can alter or distort the image, e.g. man-made or natural. It's interesting. But yeah, I mean, Joe said right, okay, but it's interesting to pull up these things because also as well, you're getting a much smaller image of what it is on Jayne's video anyway.
Yeah, it's very, very pixelated on what you're seeing there. I noticed watching it back this time, definitely.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. It
yeah,
tends to compress it to run it through to restream,
very
StreamYard,
much.
sorry. So do you want to talk, because we've got 15 minutes left, because this is a little bit of a shorter show than usual. We're doing an hour tonight, but thank you for watching, everybody. So we've got 15 minutes left. Do you want to mention a couple of other things that you picked up which people can look forward to when they click on the video, and then mention how people can watch your videos and see your Facebook? I think you're on Instagram as well, just how they can, and also your wonderful animals you create as well, which I think is brilliant to give a shout out for as well.
Thank you. Yeah. So starting from what we actually picked up, those were the main parts. We did get, however, which for me was the best part. By far was the best part, were the women's voices that we heard. We went up to the it's actually a cave now. It's called the Moors area, room 1, room 2. But we went up to what was the old hospital wing, where women and children were treated, and we were asking out, and Jem felt something. Jem felt kind of like a constant movement, and there was almost like pockets of darkness appearing and disappearing. It wasn't our eyes, it was there. It just, everything goes darker than dark, and it's hard to explain, but it does happen. It's unbelievable that black can be blacker than black, but it's there, and you're in this void. But Jem could kind of feel this movement, like constant energy change, and we sat for a little while asking, questions about ladies, not, are you there? Can you knock twice? We don't do that. And then all of a sudden, I think I speak, we get to me, what sounds like a cry, what sounded like a cry between us. And then we kind of say, Jem says, well, was that something outside being logical? And I kind of go off and one, no, it's not, it's in here, blah, 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 because I heard it really close. And we hear it again, we both hear it. And it's there. There's another cry or another female voice there. We hear them with our own ears. We've captured them on camera. I can't explain it any further than that, or why we get what we do. The only reason I can suggest that we get what we did is because we're not using equipment. Spirits, or whatever it is we contact, are not using their energy to make little gadgets flash up. They're physically trying to communicate. But is it a resonance from like the stone tape theory, or are we looking into actual spirits trying to contact us? Perhaps they're not crying, perhaps that's the way we interpreted it, and they're actually trying to speak to us. Interestingly, Jem, I haven't spoke to you yet, but the guy, the health and safety guy that was there, actually spoke to us, and he said the previous night he had heard it like a female going, help, which sounds exactly like one of the DVP or EVP that we picked up, that we heard with our own ears. It was exactly the same tone, exactly the same length. So I'm really intrigued by that, yeah. So that one was interesting. So I run, I've got many things on the go. I've got my fingers in about 50 different pies. I am Paranormal Voice. I started off originally doing Ghost Box. I don't do Ghost Box anymore. There's a video you may want to watch, which I did to disprove my own evidence on that. Worth a look at. Basically, Paranormal Voice is now a team of people. Jem is one of those. I've got another good friend of mine, Sue, and we've got kind of some part-time members that kind of come down when they can. Kerry and Kelly. And Chris in America, who kind of does a lot of analysing for us. He keeps me grounded as well. He's like a big brother to me. So basically, Paranormal Voice is a team of people. It's not just me. I did create Paranormal Voice 8-9 years ago. But now we're kind of doing different projects. We've got Haunted Cornwall on, which was a series in itself that I did for 2 or 3 years. It's now taken a different direction. It couldn't go in a direction which I wanted to take it, so it's going off in a different direction now. I'm hoping some of the team can join in on that. I've got Wheelie Haunted, which is my own thing, which I've just explained, and Paranormal Voice is more about experimentation now. It will still have its own videos, away from the Haunted Cornwall series or Really Haunted, and you'll see a lot more experimentation on there, I think, over time, to prove or disprove different pieces of paranormal activity or what is perceived as activity. Or yeah, I mean, I've put a nice long piece on there today about why I don't use gadgets. So yeah, interesting.
Brilliant. And your animals, and also as well, not just the animals as well that you create. I've seen a fantastic Freddie Mercury that you made as well. So the craft that you do would be good.
Yes, yeah. I am a needle felter, and I make animals. I won't make anything. I've just made a huge panda and a Labrador. At the moment, I'm making a chicken. It is needle felting with sheep's fleece. That's basically what I use. I use natural products. I know you can buy sort of like synthetic ones. I prefer to use natural, so that when people throw them away or do whatever they do with them or pass them on, they will eventually biodegrade. But yeah, I make little figurines of everything, basically. It is called Cornish Fibre Fairies at the minute. It will be changing to Cornish Craft Fairies because my daughter wants to incorporate some different crafts that she does. And I run it with my daughter, and yeah, we enjoy it. It is literally handcrafting, sort of like big bundles of fleece into little figures and stuff. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, I love them. They're really, really good. We've got 10 minutes, well, just under 10 minutes, 9 minutes left now. Thank you for tonight, Jayne. Soldier asks, which camera are you using? I take it for the investigation.
I use the Panasonic HC XFV 990. I think that's it. XF 990V maybe. But yeah, that's the one that I use. And I use a Ghost Stop. I can't think what it's called. It's one of the really expensive IR lights, which has got about 10 lights in one. That's what I use on 4K, 30 frames per second.
Good. Diane says the place feels charged. I take that's Bodmin Jail you were talking about, or was this? Because I think you mentioned 30 East Drive as well. So we just can clarify that. You didn't use any equipment on the night. Ah, brilliant. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, we love that. Excellent. So with the 10-minute, because we wanted to talk about Really Haunted and accessibility, so if there's people from different groups that can't go investigating for needing to have wheelchair access, maybe somebody is blind and wants to go on a paranormal investigation, or even a ghost hunt, what advice could you give people that maybe not near yourself in Cornwall, not near Devon, not near the West Country at all, but like up in Scotland or somewhere else around the world? There's also places, people from America and Canada watching on here.
The first thing to do is find the location you want to investigate. It can be difficult if you've got a particular location in mind and you know certain companies, like events companies, work there. I would go directly to either the location or the events company if it's through an events company, and talk to them first, because you need to find out what they offer for accessibility for people who are differently abled. It's important to know how they can help, and how they can make your evening work. That's the biggest thing, and dependent on your needs, whether there's steps, whether there's places to sit, whether there's guardrails to kind of guide you around or to hold, it really is tailored to personal needs. Some people go on an investigation and absolutely kill themselves, their backs, if they've got back injuries, because they can't sit down. And, it's a major thing. As simple as putting a chair out for somebody could be the difference between enjoying an event and not enjoying an event or an investigation. Now, if a location you want to go to doesn't offer that, or doesn't seem to offer that, again, get in contact with them and say, look, I've got, I can't stand too long, or I've got a visual impairment. Can there be some provision made for me to come along to this event? I'm going to bring a person with me. Does that person have to pay? But they're there as my helper. you know, can you provide something to help me around, whether it's a, you know, like a guided map, or a place to sit, or someone to come around with me, you know, stay close to us so that we're safe. That's exactly what I would do. It's all about connection, I think, more than anything, you know. And if places aren't, or locations and companies aren't willing to bend just a little bit to accommodate most people, then I don't think they're probably worth having an event with at all, if I'm honest. There are certainly ways in which most things can be worked around really simply, and yeah, I would recommend contact. But if you're in the UK, keep an eye on Wheelie Haunted, and we will, or I will, endeavour to get locations to try and change little bits at a time. I'm going to be, you know, once I've got a couple of videos up and people can see what I'm really about and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, because I come from a care background, a medical background, then I'm hoping to get some sort of like companies on board that may tweak a couple of things, may, you know, I may be able to put things up on a website and say, look, this company will, you know, help you out in certain ways, or can do this, or do this. This location does this. If you're looking for an investigation and you can only walk a few yards at a time and need to sit, this location will help. If you can't walk upstairs, for instance, go to Bob and Joe. They've got two lifts. It will make the huge difference, hopefully. And then people, they can access this information and not feel they're wasting their money going to a place and, you know, not enjoying it. If they can access this information first, then hopefully it will help them, you know, give them an educated decision on whether a certain location, a certain company works for them, or a certain type of event works for them or not.
Amazing. Yeah, I really like what you say. And I think as well, you said for those in the UK, but also as well to be an inspiration to others in other countries as well that are doing investigations. And I can see that happening. Jayne is always a fabulous interviewer and a model, investigator and resilience woman. Thank you so much for advocating all those of us who are differently abled. Yeah, well done. And
Thank you.
Thumbs up to Cowabunga from that. I'm going to pull this one up. Thank you for an interesting hour, Jayne. Good luck to you with all your endeavours.
Thank you very much, Jay.
We'll pull this up because we're almost at the end. We have seen some issues also what Lindsay has with her scooter, don't we? If something we're tweaking, it would make it easier for her to go round.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes it's even just a little bit of small tweaking that's needed. You've been absolutely amazing, as always, Jayne. Thank you so much. I realise there's probably people going to ask questions, but you know, if you do ask, mention them in the comments below this video. Well, I know one of us all, Lindsay, myself, will try and sort of answer all any sort of questions or anything like that. If it's a good one, I'll pass it on to Jayne as well. Kelly Kelly Previs is next week with her friend Nettie. She's going to be on. Kelly was on one of the season 3 of How My House Is Haunted, because her house is haunted, and she's just an amazing investigator and a friend of both of ours. So that will be a really good one next week. Same time.
She is actually a part
Brilliant.
of Paranormal Voice.
Yes, brilliant. Yeah, and a part of that. Sorry, I forgot to mention that as well. Wonderful. Have an outstanding night.
Thank you very
If
much.
it's the morning for you, have an outstanding night. You're right, just to stand it on just for 5 minutes, because I know that there's lots of things happening for you right now, but just 5 minutes
Absolutely.
afterwards, and I can tell you about that investigation place. Thank you, everyone,
Awesome.
and good
Brilliant.
night.
Cheers, mate. Good night.